All right, let's stay on the subject of Iran, where several people have died amid violent protests recently. Demonstrations erupted after a 22-year-old woman died last week of being detained by the country's so-called morality police. She was accused of violating the country's strictly enforced dress code.
Iranian officials claim that she died after suffering a heart attack and falling into a coma following her arrest. So here to discuss is 60 Minutes correspondent Lesley Stahl. She recently interviewed the country's president for 60 Minutes. Lesley, it's really good to have you here. Masa Amini, I want to say her name. This is the young lady who was accused of improperly wearing the hijab and was arrested. And that is why we're seeing these protests. But there have been protests kind of ongoing in Iran for a while. I want to get your take on the protests you're seeing now, but also where it sort of falls within the protests that have been happening.
Well, you get the sense that there's been a simmering unhappiness with the theocracy. They called him a liberal president. And then this new president, Raisi, tightened things. It's awfully hard to take away a liberty, a freedom, for any leader. If you're going to tighten, you're going to have people protest. I mean, we don't want our freedoms taken wherever we live. And so, you know, he's going to be having protests everywhere because women have had more freedom than they have now. The morality police in the last regime were kind of put in a box, told to lower the flame, and women were not harassed. You know, it's a law in Iran that a woman wear the hijab. It's a law. It's not something that they prefer. When you leave the plane, you can't get off the plane if you don't have a scarf on.
And that's everybody. I mean, I've seen you and
All
other female correspondents, Western
board.
correspondents, yeah.
But what I found interesting in Iran, and I was there a couple of years ago to do a story on women soccer players, is in Iran, they wear the scarf way back off their faces, hair all sticking out, lots of makeup, very beautiful women. Blonde women, the last time I was there's a lot of platinum going on around faces. So they have had for a long time this sense that, okay, I'm wearing my hijab, but my face is going to be seen. Now they want it to come forward. No one knows. I haven't read a word about what this young woman was wearing or not wearing. Right. So we don't actually know what the infraction was. But this president is tightening up on a lot of restrictions, adding restrictions, tightening restrictions. So
certainly the fear is that, you know, we've seen this before. Certainly in the early days of the Arab Spring, there was a real sense that perhaps some of these regimes would change because of the flowering of protests, and ultimately very, very little change across some of these countries.
Well, they're cracking down quite heavily. 7 people have died already in these protests. Tear gas, beatings, all of it. And I, too, remember the color demonstrations and how they all fizzled in the end.
Yeah.
And if you force me to predict, which you wouldn't, but here I am predicting, I don't think it's going to be successful here either. But the population is not happy. And Iran has freedom. Well, freedom. They have more democracy than most countries in the Middle East. They really have elections. So, you know, they do care about public opinion there.
I want to get to your interview with the president, but I wanted to ask you one more thing. We have seen post-pandemic people in a number of different countries sort of push back against the government. You know, during the pandemic, a number of governments were able to implement all kinds of restrictions. And there was a lot of sort of economic hardship because of the pandemic. On the other side, some people are getting angry. Do you think that the pandemic, the economic impact of the pandemic, is also feeding into this discontent?
I did not get that feeling in Iran. Iran, it's because they tightened freedoms that they had, very specific. In China, it's different. What you're talking about is definitely causing the government of China a lot of difficulties because people are pushing back. But Iran is this kind of special category right now.
Interesting.
Let me ask you about this interview with President Raisi. You asked him about the talks of the nuclear deal. I want to play a bit of that conversation.
If it's a good deal and fair deal, we would be serious about reaching an agreement. It needs to be lasting. There needs to be guarantees. If there were a guarantee, then the Americans could not withdraw from the deal.
But you can pull out of the deal. I mean, just as well as we could pull out of the deal.
You see, the Americans broke their promises. They did it unilaterally. They said that, I am out of the deal. Now making promises is becoming meaningless.
Are you saying that you cannot trust the Americans?
We cannot trust the Americans because of the behavior that we've already seen from them. That is why if there is no guarantee, there is no trust.
So that's a fascinating bit of your interview there, Leslie, because on one hand, it sounds as if he's saying the United States can't be trusted. But we know that the decision was made by the former president of the United States. He campaigned on that, right? He campaigned that he would get the United States out of the nuclear deal. So probably wasn't a surprise to the Iranians. Did you get the sense that if there is a solid deal, as he says, that they'd be willing to sign up for it?
Well, if they get what they want, yeah, they'll sign
I mean,
it.
President Obama was able to figure out a diplomatic solution.
They don't like Biden any more than they like Trump because Biden's kept the sanctions on, and
Right.
he says that flat out. We wondered why he agreed to the interview. I'd been asking for an interview with the last president. I think I was over at that UN compound a lot. I can't tell you how many times, but the minute this man came in,
He agreed.
He agreed. And
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Why? What does he want to say? What is his message? Why does he want to talk this way to the American people? And I was surprised, just what you're talking about, defiance. That was the message. I am not here to compromise with you. We hate you as much as we ever have, we being the government. Think you're the great Satan, as you have been since 1979.
And he didn't mince words on Israel either when you asked him about
Israel,
that. I
well,
mean,
that was not a surprise to me, by the way.
Me too. I was actually surprised too, because I thought that he would use some kind of.
No, I wasn't surprised.
Oh, you weren't surprised?
No, I was not surprised. I was more surprised about the tone toward the Americans. But his message, and it's the same message he delivered at the UN, no inch, we're going to stand up to you. We now have new allies in China and Russia, and we don't feel we need to give in order to get you to lift those sanctions. We'd like you to lift the sanctions. We want the sanctions lifted, but we are not going to compromise. Now, that's his message. Doesn't mean they won't compromise, but that is the message. That is why he wanted, I think, why he wanted to talk on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he knows the size of the audience and the reach that 60 Minutes has, and
Right.
the best venue for him to
But
share his.
the message was clear, and I was so surprised that his speech at the UN was identical.
Right. To what he said to you.
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah, in tone and substance.
Wow.
I just want to add, if it's okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
that the people that we met on the streets were lovely,
Yeah.
extremely welcoming. And now I'm interpreting, and you know, I get things wrong, but the message I thought I was getting was, we don't like this government, and we like Americans. And we want to be friends again.
You often hear that when you talk to Iranians who are here in the United States,
Yeah.
who've been able to make their way here to the United States.
Yeah.
It's a very different. If you were only to listen to the mullahs and to the people in government in Iran, you would get a very different impression that they really did hate us. But when you actually talk to real people, you find out that in fact it's they have real issues with their government and the people in the theocracy, and that they actually do have some affinity for us here in the West.
Got that?
And I don't know if you even sort of tapped into that, but who do they blame for the sanctions?
People?
Yeah.
Oh, I have. Well, no, they are unhappy with the sanctions. The people.
Yeah.
One of the things that disturbed them the most was that they couldn't get the vaccines when COVID hit. And they had almost the worst time in the whole Middle East area because they couldn't get vaccines in the beginning. And there was resentment toward our government. I don't know if the public there differentiates between our president and the rest of us.
Right.
I do know that the vaccines were an upsetting factor.
Yeah.
Leslie, it's always great to have you.
Yeah,
Come back
pleasure.
at any time. We'd love to have you.
I love that you're on this set.
I know, isn't it great? It's because there's such history behind the set. And now here we are.
It's grown up.
I know.
It has.
It really has.
That's true.